Hi everyone, welcome to this session by Competition Crusade. My name is Somajit Goswami, and in today's session we are going to solve a moderate level question of time, speed and distance. And as you all can see that a little bit of experimentation is still going on. I am using different type of layouts that will make the videos a little bit more interesting. Having said that, let's focus on the question that is for us. This is an interesting question. We have actually solved a similar question, actually not similar exact question, but this is a different there's a additional information and there is a slight nuance in this question. Okay, and I would ask all of you to pause the video right now, read the question and try to solve this. Okay, and I will try to give you my input on this question. At the same time, I will also try to see if I can, let's say, solve it with the help of the options. Okay, so let me read this question out for you guys once. Okay, so three persons A, B and C start traveling from a city P at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. respectively. All the three reach point Q simultaneously and continue beyond that point. C reaches the point R first and turns back immediately towards P. Okay, 30 minutes after turning back he crosses A. The story is crystal clear. I have solved this question in the previous video. You can just go to the previous video and see how we have been able to calculate the distance and time and all that. So I will steadily use reference from the previous video. Okay, the difficult time speed distance video. Okay, so this one is pretty easy. So the question that is asking you is, if the distance between P and Q is equal to the distance between Q and R, then the time at which C crosses B for the second time is. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Okay, see what is happening. I'll see if I can explain the so initially what we started off with was, there was this P, Q and R, and obviously A, B and C, they are they have started walking. Obviously they haven't started simultaneously. A has started at 4 a.m. this fellow has started at 5 a.m. okay, just a second, 5 a.m. and this one is 6 a.m. okay, the story remains the same. All of them reach this point Q simultaneously. So that is the case. Now what happens is that I have solved this one, so I will directly go into my observation and let me choose a different color. So what happens is that C reaches this position R first, of course, because C, you can see from the very time allotment of these numbers is that even after starting 2 hours late, he is able to reach R or rather Q simultaneously with the other people. Okay, so what we need to understand is that this fellow has a faster speed, so C has a faster speed, and the others, they have slower speed in comparison to the previous one. Now the question has told me that 30 minutes, if you look into this thing, 30 minutes after turning back he crosses A. Now I'll just go by the simple logic. I have explained this thing in enough and more details in the last video, but I will just give you my hints. So the point is, this is the point in which A and C meets. Okay, and understand that C is traveling in this direction, A is traveling in this direction. Okay, and suppose if C takes T hours, A should take T plus 2 hours, because effectively the difference in time between the two is given to me. Okay, so the difference in time is 2 hours. Now I know that A and C meet at this position, and 0.5 hours has been done by C. So 1.5 hour will be the time that A takes to cover this distance. Okay, so effectively this distance C has covered in 0.5 hours, and I know that there's a 2 hours ka gap between A and C, so A will take 1.5 hours to clear this. Having said that, so time of C upon time of A will be, I'm doing it in a little bit of details. You can ramp up the video a little bit. 1.5, and if you do your calculations, you know that this is 1 upon 3. Okay, now understand this thing. If the time taken by them is in the ratio 1:3, so the speed of C upon speed of A will be 3 upon 1. Okay, so this is an interesting idea. Also, this is only for this much distance. Okay, this much distance, because this time the distance is constant. Now understand this thing. I have already mentioned that C is taking T hours and A is taking T plus 2 hours. So if I substitute the values, I have done this thing in the last video, but just because this is an extension, I'm doing this. Okay, so T upon T plus 2 is equal to 1 upon 3. Okay, let me go a little down. So this will become 3T is equal to T plus 2, or 2T is equal to 2, or T is equal to 1. Now understand that so far everything remains the same, everything is same, and the most important thing, let me place the video over here. Okay, all right, so everything is crystal clear so far. Now what the situation is, I know the exact time in which these guys are meeting. So let me take my pen back. Okay, just a second. Yeah, so I know that T is equal to 1 hour. This is the time that C takes. Now this is as good as started at 6 a.m., reached Q at 7 a.m. and reached R at 8 a.m. So every consecutive distance he is taking 1 hour. So this is 8 a.m. So far so good. And after 30 minutes they meet. So A and C, I have already discussed this thing in great details, that A and C, they meet at 8:30. Now the question is that if the distance between this and this is fine, then at which time C crosses B for the second time? Understand, it cannot be 7:40, because 8:30 is the time in which A and C is meeting. Similarly, it cannot be 8 a.m. So this question, you don't necessarily need to solve this question. Okay, you can just skip it. If you have already solved the first part of the question, the next part becomes fairly easy. So these two options get eliminated the moment I know A and C meets at 8:30. Okay, now I have two options, 8:20 and 8:40. I'll just check one of these. So what I will, I'll just plug in the options. Okay, and how do I do that? Okay, you can solve it with your equation method. You can form equations and solve it. I don't like to do that. So I'll just assume that they meet at 20 minutes from this position. Okay, 20 minutes, and let's see if that makes sense. If they meet at 20 minutes, so let me clear out some space. Okay, just a second. Okay guys, so what I am saying is that I am assuming that they are meeting in 20 minutes. Okay, so the time taken, suppose this is the distance. Okay, this is the distance. I can name it a W or anything. Okay, so this is the distance. This distance C takes 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes. And how much will be the time taken by B? Time taken by B to cover this distance after meeting, because this distance is going to be the same, right? this will be 40 minutes. Now at this point you can convert, you cannot convert, you should, I mean, whether you convert it into hours or all, that's, you know, upon you. All I want right now is a ratio. Okay, and I just want to see if this ratio satisfies my equation. So what I will do is I'll just see, this is 1:2. Okay, 1:2, and time of C is to time of B is 1:2. So for that distance R, for this distance WR, the speed will be 2:1. So C will be 2 times faster than B. But the point that I'm trying to make is, again this fellow is taking T time and this fellow is taking how much? Is it going to be T plus 1 or T plus 2? This one is going to be T plus 1. Okay, so let's see. So I'll just substitute. So T upon T plus 1 is equal to 1 upon 2. If you do your cross multiplication, you will get 2T is equal to T plus 1. 2T minus T is equal to 1. So T is equal to 1. This T is the gap between C and B. So B and C के बीच का जो गैप है, हमने जब 20 मिनट्स अज्यूम किया था और 40 मिनट्स हमने डाला, ठीक है, दोनों के बीच का गैप हमने अज्यूम किया था, तो हमें T का वैल्यू, so we get T is equal to 1. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Having said that, I would also like to clarify one thing. But sir, this is 20 minutes, 40 minutes, you have not converted into hours. So what will happen is, if you, for example, if you do 20 by 60, 40 by 60, and if I have to take the ratios now, 60 and 60 will go in the first cut. Okay, so they will cut in the first round. So that this is not going to make any significant difference. Okay, but because this time has come out to be 1, I know for a fact that this is going to be the answer. Okay, I hope this makes sense. This is just option elimination. If you just, and I would probably ask you to check it for 840. See what is the value of T that comes in case of you take this as 840. Okay, so this is kind of a homework for you. Having said that, this is the question. This question was solved in just 2 minutes. It's just that I, freshly solved the entire set to show you that you can do this thing on your own. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Let me just see if I can. Okay. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, if you like the layout and all, just tell me. I will be happy to hear that. Thank you.